everybody. Today we're going to do a MindUP lesson about our brains. We're going to talk about our prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, and the hippocampus. We're also going to talk about what happens when our brain gets upset. You see how the sand and the water are separated and the water is clear? It's kind of like our brains. You can see through the clear water, but when you get upset, things are not clear and we have to use our calming down skills for a while before it takes a while for it to go down. And then it slowly separates. And then we can use our brains to think again.
But that would be stuff drops.
Yeah.
Like the
So, we're going to start up with our MindUP song. Does anybody know the My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean song? Well, this is kind of how it goes. You go up and down in parts of the song. Can you get your bodies to safely stand up and safely sit down? All right, can you keep your eyes on me for this part? Okay, I'm going to sing and do it, and then it'll be your turn, okay? So everybody in their seats, eyes on me, listening.
How about we put our ears on?
Your listening ears? Yeah, sounds like a good idea. So, I'll sing it and then you sing it back, okay? My brain is very important.
My brain is very important.
It helps me do everything.
It helps me do everything.
Located here in my head.
Located here in my head.
It's why I can think, choose, and sing.
It's why I can think, choose, and sing.
My brain, it is important to me.
My brain, it is important to me.
My brain, it helps me think and remember.
My brain, it helps me think and remember.
My brain tells me fight, flight, or freeze.
My brain tells me fight, flight, or freeze.
It helps all my parts work together.
It helps all my parts work together.
And that's why I just have to sing.
And that's why I just have to sing.
My brain, it is so important to me.
My brain,
It's so important to me.
It is so important to me.
Oh, thank you for joining us for our little MindUP song there. All right, so can we get our feet ready to learn? Can we get our bottoms ready to learn? Can we get our hands ready to learn? Can we get our ears ready to learn? Let's get our eyes on the teacher and ready to learn. All right, so let's think about what do our brains do. Let's each think of one thing that our brain helps us do and we can share it out. I'll start. My brain helps me to play music.
My brain helps me to exercise. My brain helps me to draw pictures.
Ooh, very interesting. So our brains help us do all sorts of things. They help us make decisions. They help us remember things. Our brains help us take in information. Our brains help us explore ideas. All of these things happen in our brains. And you know how we take care of our bodies by exercising them? We got to do that with our brains too. So when we think or when we use our calming skills, we're doing things to take care of our brains. Isn't that cool that we can take care of our brains?
Uh-oh, one person's looking at the teacher. Now two.
Oh, thank you for looking at the teacher. Let's talk about the 3 parts of the brain up here on our poster. Can everyone say prefrontal cortex?
Prefrontal cortex.
So here's the prefrontal cortex. Here's what it says. I'm the prefrontal cortex, PFC for short. I help you solve math problems and get to know your favorite book and TV characters. Give me time to work and I can help you make friends or make the best decision in a tough situation. Our prefrontal cortex can think about the past and the present and the future. It helps us think, it helps us make choices, it helps us focus and concentrate and read and write. All of these things are the things that the prefrontal cortex does. Can somebody point to it? Raise your hand if you can point to that part. Yes, Marcus. Can you get up and point to it? Oh, nice work. Okay, the next part is the amygdala. Can everyone say amygdala?
Amygdala.
The amygdala. This is what it says about itself. I'm amygdala, and I'm here to keep you safe. I react fast. If there's serious danger, I'll help you run, freeze, or fight back. So our amygdala is kind of like our security guard. It reacts when there's information that's coming in about fear or danger or threat. It stops the PFC, which kind of like thinks a little slower, and it goes fast, fast, fast. And it feeds information to the PFC. Like when there's a dangerous situation, the amygdala is the one that jumps in. So, can I have a volunteer to point to the amygdala? Yes, Olivia, can you come point to the amygdala?
It's 2 parts.
Yeah, see those 2 pink parts? One part here and one part here. In just a little bit, I'll show you where to point to them on your head. All right, the next one is hippocampus. Can you say hippocampus?
Hippocampus. Hippocampus.
Let's see what the hippocampus says. I'm the hippocampus, and I'm like a scrapbook in your brain. I save everything important that you want to remember, from your ABCs to the names of all the people in your family. When something happens to make you smile, I'll save that happy memory. So our hippocampus is our memory saver. It helps us decide how to respond when there's fear or threats. It stores our memory, and it also helps feed information to the prefrontal cortex when it's making decisions. Can somebody raise their hand if they would like to point to the hippocampus? All right, there's 2 people who want to do the same thing. Can you both do it? Point right there. All right, look at this, 100% participation. Nice work. So we've talked about what our brain helps us do, how to take care of it, and the 3 parts. Let's talk more about their jobs and where they are in our heads. Okay, so can everybody point here?
That's the top part.
Yes, this is the prefrontal cortex.
Prefrontal cortex.
Say it one more time.
Prefrontal cortex.
And the prefrontal cortex is our decision maker and our wise leader. Can everyone say wise leader?
Wise leader.
All right.
All over the place.
Yeah. All right. Next, let's talk about our hippocampus. Can you point to this part near your ear? Yeah, that's our hippocampus. We're going to call the hippocampus the memory saver. Can you say memory saver?
Memory saver.
Let's do it together. Memory saver.
Memory saver.
Yeah, so can you point to it again?
Memory saver.
Yeah. So the hippocampus and the amygdala both are part of our limbic or emotional brains. They work together. So let's figure out, where would the amygdala be? Can you point behind your ears?
Yeah, they're right on the...
They're right there, and they are almond-sized. So they're like a little thing that does a really big job in our brains.
And it's also connected to both because it's on the hippocampus.
Marcus, can you sit for a second and listen? Yeah, okay. So the third part is our amygdala. It's kind of small. It's like an almond. And we're going to call it the security guard. Can everyone say security guard?
Security guard.
All right. So first we have prefrontal cortex. It's our wise leader. Then we have hippocampus. It's our memory saver. And then we have amygdala, and it is our security guard. Got it?
Big job for a little one.
Yeah? See if you can remember. Who remembers who is the wise leader? Raise your hand.
Prefrontal cortex.
Raise your hand. Yes, Olivia. Which one is the wise leader?
Prefrontal cortex.
All right. Let's see if you know who the security guard is. Raise your hand. Yes.
Amygdala.
Yes, you got it right. All right, and there's one more. The memory saver. Raise your hand if you know who the memory saver is. Yes, Olivia. Yeah. Hippocampus. Did she get it right? She did. Nice work. All right. Okay. Is your question part of our lesson, or can it wait till the end?
The back of my neck.
Okay. The back of your neck hurts. Yeah. Is this a good time to stop our lesson, or not a good time to? Okay. Can you take a deep breath? All right. Thank you. She's using those calming down skills, which brings us to what happens in our brain.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. When our brain gets upset,
Still go down.
our prefrontal cortex has a trouble working. Our wise leader kind of can't get to decision making because our amygdala is our security guard, and it says, you know what, we have to act really fast. We don't have time to think.
So it stops.
It stops us, and we're just really working from our emotional and limbic brain at that point. And it's really hard to think really clearly because we have all these emotions and stress hormones happening in our body. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was like, stop working.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this real fast.
Ah! So let's see if we can use our hands to think about the parts of the brain in a different way. Okay? So if you put your two fists together, that would be kind of the size of a brain. And then if you had your thumbs in the front, what's in the front? The prefrontal cortex is in the front.
Because he's
Do you
the
hear
leader.
the word front in prefrontal cortex?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a way to help us remember the prefrontal
Prefrontal
cortex.
cortex.
Can everybody show the TV your prefrontal cortex thumbs? All right. Next, we have our index fingers that were tucked in right there behind our prefrontal cortex on this part of our body. What would that be like?
The amygdala.
That would be like the amygdala. And then we have the other parts of our brain, which is the hip. And that would be like the tips of our middle fingers. Can everybody wave the tips of their middle fingers? Yeah, so that's another way to think about it. Have you ever heard somebody said, I was so upset, I flipped my lid? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to show you a story, okay? Say that you are sleeping at night, and your amygdala is still, and your hippocampus is calm, and your prefrontal cortex is calm. Everybody's calm. It's nice and serene. It's a quiet house and sleeping. And then, thump! There is a big noise. And what happens? The prefrontal cortex is not working anymore, and the amygdala and the hippocampus take over, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a way to think about it too. When you say flip your lid, really that part of your brain stops working. And then we have to calm it down so that we can make a decision without being too in our fight or flight response. So what could we
goes down.
Yeah, what could we do to help re-engage our prefrontal cortex? What could we do to calm down? Raise your hand if you know a calming down skill. Yes, Olivia?
You could take your deep breath.
You could take a deep breath. Can everyone take a deep breath? Let's do one more. Raise your hand if you can think of another calming down skill. Yes, Marcus?
Going back to sleep and letting your other parts go to sleep.
Yeah. So what
And
could you do? So Olivia said you could breathe to help calm those parts down. And you think of another thing that we do? What do we do in our family if someone gets really upset?
We say we take deep breaths and squeeze them.
Oh, we do tense and relax. Can you show everybody what tense and relax with a deep breath looks like? 1, 2, 3, tense. And 1, 2, 3, breathe out like a limp spaghetti. 1, 2, 3, tense. Squeeze as hard as you can. The whole body. All right, and 1, 2, 3, breathe out. All right. Another thing we do is feel our heartbeat. Can everybody put their hand on their heart? Be like, let me check in with my heart and see if it's beating slow. Okay, those are some calming down skills. So, we're going to do a quick skit for everybody about how the parts work together. Here we are with the parts of the brain. Here is the amygdala, the security guard. Here is the hippocampus. They're working together. They're the limbic emotional brain. And here is the prefrontal cortex. I'm the prefrontal cortex. I am the wise leader. She is the amygdala. She is our security guard. This is Marcus. He is our memory saver, okay? And we're going to show you a little skit about how the parts of the brain work together. So, usually when things are fine, we can all walk in place, working together. Everything's a-okay. So we're working together. I'm making some decisions. The amygdala is taking in information just to make sure everything's safe. And the hippocampus is memorizing things and working with the amygdala. Then, freeze. Something happens to startle us. Can everyone make a startled face? And the amygdala kicks the prefrontal cortex out. Can you push me out of the picture? Ah! They go into fight. Can you make a fist? Flight. Can you run? Or freeze. Yep. So, the prefrontal cortex, I can't come back in until they let me in. They're blocking me. They won't let me in. They won't let me in. I can't come in and help with making decisions until they use their calm down skills. Can you take some deep breaths and squeeze and relax so that I can come back in? Oh, thank you. They have slowly calmed all the parts of the brain down so that the prefrontal cortex can come back in and help us make a wise decision, a slow decision, thinking about the past and the present and future, about how to do things, because they were in fight, flight, or freeze, and they were thinking now. But I came in once I did the calm down skills, and the prefrontal cortex is going to help us make some wise decisions. Can you tell everybody thank you for learning with us about the brain today?
Thank you for learning with us about the brain today.
All right. Good job, team.
Can I color it around?